Alright. Welcome to my channel. Here I'm going to be having a solo stream where I'm going to be showing some tips that I've discovered throughout my times of playing Minecraft. First thing is, I usually start with a bonus chest. Saves time. Next thing I do, find coal and sheep. And as you've probably noticed, I have not opened my map yet. That's because what I do is find the place I want to live and then activate. That way I don't have to make a new map. Best way to get coal in the beginning is just go around the mountains. You'll find lots of coal without having to go into caves. If you make it to the spruce biome, always pick up sweet berries. They will be very useful as a food stock item. If you find a village, it's good to scope it out. Check to see what kind of villagers are in there. And if it has enough villagers for you to trade, I highly recommend making a base of operations in the village. I also suggest harvesting any and all crops that they have. Just remember to replant, because sometimes by doing this you have the ability to gain seeds that you would otherwise find it difficult to find. Campfires are useful now, because you can cook without needing a furnace or coal.
6 messages? What? There's 6 messages.
Now this village looks like it's going to be very good to keep, because you have the weaponsmith. Oh, you have 2 weaponsmiths. You have a golem to keep your villagers safe. I could have sworn I saw another villager before. Huh. That's honestly the first time I've ever seen 3 weaponsmiths in one town. Now the best way to keep your villagers safe is to find out where they live and then blocking their door. By blocking their door, this allows you to keep your villagers safe and make sure they don't escape. Because unattended villages tend to end up with zombie villagers. Because zombies tend to try and break down the doors to get at your villagers. Oh. Baby villager. Definitely need to keep him safe. Alright. Cartography house. Noping out of that. Now, if you do not know, the best way to deal with creepers is in water, because their explosions do nothing. By the looks of it, I have all the villagers successfully trapped. Now the only thing left to do is build a fence around said village to keep them permanently safe from zombies. Now the thing that surprises me most is the fact that there are farms, yet I saw no farmers. Now you can build a fence around the village, or you decide that the village is not good enough for you, you can just leave them trapped and wander off. Also, another interesting fact I have discovered, no matter how high up you are, if you jump and land in water, you don't get injured. That can be useful in caves, if you find yourself near a gorge. Or even on a high mountaintop where you realize that you shouldn't have been up that high. Also, it's a very faster way to drop. Speaking of gorges, here's a decent sized one. If you want to get as far to the edge as possible to look down, crouch, because you can get to the bare maximum of the block you're on without falling to your death. This seems like a nice place to set up. Lots of rocks to build, some trees, and a couple of entrances to mines, including the gorge. Now the gorge, you'd probably have to make a staircase down to get down safely, because if you jump, there is a good chance you could end up in that lava. Alright. Now what I'm gonna do is make a crafting table. Bed. Eat a little bit to prevent starvation. And then start flattening. Now I prefer relatively flat ground to make my residence, but it's up to you. Though flattening does help enable you to get a lot of dirt for future farms. And stone, depending on how high up you are. Now I'm hearing a lot of skeleton activity, which means there's possibly a dungeon nearby. Now, I have some decent armor on and food. So, the best course of action is to dig down where you hear the sound. Alright, we found a section of the cave. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna have to drop down. After I make another pickaxe. Unless... I do this. That would appear I was wrong. There wasn't a skeleton dungeon. But by investigating, I discovered a new cave entrance. So I don't need that handmade one. Now when going into caves, I always bring wood with me to make more sticks. So I can have torches. I make sure I have my own crafting table to make the stuff. And I put stuff that I don't want to lose into a chest. Mainly I put seeds. And saplings. Put half of those in there. Keep the arrows. Alright. Time to head down into the cave. Now, I like putting the torches on the floor because I feel it gives more light to the room. Looks like I found another entrance. Much harder to get to one. But in case of emergencies, useful. Now, I find coal to be the most important thing to get at this point in time. Especially if you're thinking of making your house out of stone. By making coal blocks, it allows you the ability to smelt a lot more stone, well, cobblestone, into stone to make stone brick. Now that was a lot of coal that I just found. Now you don't have to actively go looking for iron, but if you happen upon it, collect it when you can. Also be very careful about hitting gravel, because you will make the ceiling collapse. And then you'll be in for a very bad time. Sometimes through your digging, you'll find other corridors that you otherwise would not have found before. Also, I keep gravel, dirt, that sort of stuff in my inventory to allow me to make staircases. Also, helpful way to get rid of Alright, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the zombies. There's an easier way to get rid of gravel. What you do it's usually about timing. You set up where you're basically mining away at it with a torch. Then quickly put the torch under the gravel before it falls down. This allows you to break up the gravel without having to constantly hit it. Now, I tend to do a lot of underground exploration. So, a lot of my streams probably going to have me being in a mine. Also, it's good to find a mine that has multiple entrances and exits, because if you end up getting lost, you have a better chance of being able to get out of said mine. Though, if you're very desperate to try and escape from a mine, my best suggestion is to pick a wall and build a staircase up. Eventually you'll reach the top. Now, if you're starting to collect a lot of coal, my suggestion, just put them into a block of coal. This frees up room in your inventory, so you can collect more coal. It also makes it very convenient when you have to use it for the furnace. Now, another thing that I prefer to do is have the coordinates be on. This is mainly so I don't have to open up my map every 5 seconds. To find out how deep I am into the earth. By the looks of it, this cave system that I found is actually a very good cave system. I will have the ability, probably, and that's what I said, why I meant by be careful about mining around gravel, because it usually ends up falling. As much as I want to go very deep into the earth, I'm not going to at this time. Because one, I'm ill-prepared for the lava. And two, I only have one iron pickaxe at the moment. And I don't want to break it so soon. Another dead end. Also, if you've probably noticed, I tend to over-torch areas I'm exploring. That's because of how often I'll be going through a cave system, look around, see no creepers, go to start digging, and a creeper usually ends up behind me and goes boom. Gets annoying every time. I am at that point in time where I realize that I am actually lost. And I have to remember how to get out of here. Right, that's the dead end. Right, I came down here from the water. Now to see my way out of this cave. Looks like I'm gonna have to either build a stairway up or find one of the other entrances. Sometimes if you have entrances that are not easily found, my suggestion, put a torch so that way you know what you're looking for.
Probably not. Still doesn't make it any less frustrating.
Alright everyone, that's all I have time for today. I hope you enjoyed my YouTube channel.